Another note on AFL this week is the video game AFL 23 was launched on PS5 and PC, I think, and unfortunately it's come out, it's a bit of a buggy mess. Like it's just like not a very good game. And historically, I actually had the AFL 2004 game on PC when I was a kid, and I loved it. It was so fun. But I do think there's a few problems with AFL in video games that I want to point out here. The first thing about AFL in video games is that we're not talking about something like FIFA. Of course, FIFA video games, globally popular. Everyone loves them. Everyone plays them. They sell very well. The thing with AFL is it's such a small sport comparatively to something like soccer, right? Soccer is a worldwide sport. AFL, your demographic is predominantly, well, almost exclusively Australia, possibly New Zealand, and also people in Australia that like footy, own gaming consoles, and would buy a sports game. AFL as well is really, it's biggest in Victoria. It's almost nothing in Sydney. So like in New South Wales, people are much more into NRL than AFL. So your target demographic is already so small, right? As opposed to something like FIFA, where you can invest a lot of money into a FIFA game to make sure it's really good, because you kind of know that worldwide there's an audience that will spend their money on it. Look at AFL. You can't really justify pouring all this money into it to make a really polished product when you know it's the demographic just isn't there. It is there, but it's not really big enough to justify investing heaps and heaps of money into this project, right? And that's, I guess, the problem, because I know some of the older AFL games were part of the EA Sports lineup, but now they're not. My assumption is EA was like, it's just not worth us putting time and effort and money into these projects because they don't make us enough money back, and that's true. So I think while the AFL 23 game seems to be a bit of a buggy mess and is not good, I think we do need to remember that games like this, it's just very hard to invest tons of money to make them really good because the install base just isn't there. So really, if you are into AFL games, you're kind of lucky there is anything. And that's not to say you can't be disappointed with the game, but like everything that you do get really is for the fans, because worldwide it's such a niche market that there's a real ceiling on how much you can expect to get as a return on investment. So yeah, I think people need to keep that in mind with something like AFL. Like they expect a perfect polished game like FIFA, but I just don't think it's as feasible as people think it should be. The other thing is I don't think AFL as a sport translates as well into a game as soccer. I think there's just so many more things going on. Like soccer, not to denigrate it, but it's quite a simple game, I feel. Whereas AFL, I feel like it has a bit more complexity. Anyway, those are just my thoughts.